So, officially, welcome to the 2013 KB4Girls Annual General Meeting, everyone. It's great to have you here with us, and thanks for introducing yourselves very quickly. I'm glad we were able to solve our technical problems. I would say that I'm just going to start running you through our agenda here very quickly. I hope you can all see my screen. Anyone that can't see my screen, please just let me know. Okay, sounds good. So our first point of the day was the welcome, which I've just done. We are going to go over to apologies, which I don't think we really have any, since everyone is volunteering and we know that there's different time zones. It's just normal that there's some people missing and some can be present. I'm actually recording the session, so this AGM will be available for every other ambassador that isn't able to make it right now to actually view afterwards. So hopefully that will help everyone. I am just introducing the agenda for today. I will be representing the minutes of the previous annual general meeting. That's just something that we are meant to do since we're also meant to hold an annual general meeting every year by law, being a 501c3 nonprofit association. And afterwards, I'm going to continue to the annual report. Then we will have Laurie represent our accounts from last year. And then we will actually get to the most interesting part of this meeting, the 2013 programs and goals for the future. I've already listed a few points here, which are working together for cause, how we can all benefit the foundation, and obviously how we can benefit the chapters, which has always been one of our main goals. What are our future goals? Do we have any that we all want to achieve together? Media work is an important point because I think that's going to really help the KB4Girls Foundation. Then we had some suggestions from our little poll at the beginning of the season. There is a KB4Girls Global Female Kite Day in the lineup, and we've also talked about the Ambassador Conference. And then the cooperations that we have in the lineup we will further discuss, as well as the new KB4Girls website that I'm working on. And last but not least, like last year, it's one of the important points for us to discuss member engagement and fundraising. You will see that when we discuss the accounts, why that's so important. And on our again agenda for today, we will also have the election, most likely the re-election of our Vice President Laurel Eastman, and any other business that you girls come up with. So that would be the agenda for today. In which case, I am going to open last year's minutes. And these are posted online. They were posted online just a couple of days after our last year AGM, which we also held online. I don't think everyone would want to be reading through this very quickly. You can find them online on the KB4Girls website. I would just like to ask Laurel and Laurie to approve them if they are fine with them, please.
Yep, looks good.
Laurel, can you still hear us? Laurel?
Oh, sorry about
He's
that. I was
nodding.
muted and had
Yes,
to finally
yes, I
unmute.
saw
Yes,
that.
I
Yeah.
approve of those minutes.
Okay, perfect. Great. Thank you very much. Then we can move forward. And here we go. I'm going to have to make this a bit smaller. That should work. So, this year's annual report, or actually last year's annual report, my job as the president of a foundation to put together an annual report every year. It's the second time I've done this for KB4Girls, and it's actually been great, just like last year, to really reflect on the previous year and what we've actually achieved as a foundation. And it's been especially great for me this year because last year the group of girls that we were to make things happen was a lot smaller, but this year it was obviously an achievement of a lot more girls all around the world, and it was really great for us to see how all you chapter ambassadors have stepped up. So it's been a real pleasure working with all of you, but also putting this together. And well, it just starts with an executive message here that you can all read. I'm going to forward this annual report to all of you after the meeting, and it will also go online. You can read our mission statement here, which you should all know, and our key objectives that haven't changed much from last year.
Wow.
Yes. I could hear somebody. Was there any comments? You
No, it's Elena. I just said wow because I read the mission statement and I really liked it and the key objectives too.
That's great. Yeah,
Sorry.
no, that's fine, Elena. Since you are new to the foundation, and we hope that you are going to be opening a new chapter in Germany. It's great for you to see this in front of you like that. Once you actually sign on as a chapter, that will all be in the sign up documents and so on as well. But it's great for you to learn that way. If you have any questions, just jump in at any point, any of you. If not, I'm
Yeah,
just
thank you.
If not, I'm just going to go ahead. So, our board of directors that's present today is obviously me. We've already had Laurel, our vice president, introduce herself, as well as Laurie Streaker, our treasurer. In our board of advisors, we have Elia, who's here, and Sandy was actually joining us in our first session before we had our technical
You
issues.
can hear again, right? Yeah, you're back on. You're back on.
She's just not joining us at
It
the
probably
moment.
just.
Hopefully, she will be able to join us again later. Um, and our honorary members are Linda Agila, who is the organizer of the Dream Extreme event in New York, and Bryce Wolbach, since he's been really the one helping to make this all happen in the first year. All right, so I have listed a little KB4Girls 2012 global event calendar, in which you can just simply see the main major events that we had last year. These list all the global events, as well as great things like July 25, on which we received the Girls Inc. Advocacy Award for raising funds for them in our San Francisco event, as well as July 30, when the IKA officially recognized KB4Girls as their female program for the sport, which was a great milestone for us as well. Some great achievements in 2012 really reflecting on that. Next point in our annual report are the KB4Girls global programs. And this year, as you will see here on the next slide, I've really separated it into the global programs, as well as then in the next step, the chapter program, because obviously the chapters have taken on such a much bigger role in the foundation that uh, I see it in the foundation really as two completely different main programs now. The global ones that I'm working on mostly, and then obviously the chapter ones that each of you is working on so amazingly. And the just for your information, the annual report is pretty much for to prove that we are doing nonprofit work, and so it's something that the IRS might look at, or the the people that actually give us the nonprofit status. So we're basically listing all the things that we have done to prove that we're actually doing nonprofit work. So this is why this is quite a bit in detail going here. The global programs that we did last year were the global events, of which we had the Sydney, Thailand, San Francisco, USA, Elguna, Egypt, Lansing in Great Britain, and New York, USA event. You can see the number of participants listed here, and mainly those events are really there to help the girls, the participating girls, to raise their skills. Those are the events that I go to, that I now work with the local chapters. Actually, this year it's like that I work with the local chapters that won the chapter challenge, and we hold the events there. Last year that wasn't like that yet. We didn't have the chapter challenge, so you will see a couple of places in between here that don't actually have a chapter at the moment. But these events really aim to empower females around the world, and those events are the ones that I go to, and that really make it possible for me to really feel what's happening out there within you girls, these chapters, and the local communities. So it keeps me connected. The next point in our global programs are really the fundraising initiatives. We've kind of stepped away from from fundraising at each of the events, which we did in the previous year, because we've realized in last year's AGM, we actually discussed that there are countries where girls just can't really afford to raise funds, or where it's just inappropriate when, for example, we do competition coaching. There's just a different focus on that. So we really focused on the few events that we saw would actually be working really well for fundraising, and included fundraising into those. These events were the San Francisco one, where we raised 6,300 US dollars for the Girls Inc. of the island city, that then gave us the advocacy award for that, which was a really great achievement. It was a great cooperation with them. It was really fun. In Elguna, we raised funds for Hope Village, which is an amazing program for street kids in Cairo. And the money that we raised for them, which, as you can see here, 830 euros, is not that much, unfortunately, but it went straight into their Street Mom project, where they have girls that were raped on the roads and got pregnant and don't have anywhere to go. They give them a home and they really take care of them. It was a really powerful charity for us to work with. In Lansing, we raised funds for St. Barnabas Hospice, which was also a really great cause, since it was really closely connected to the local community there. Um, Maybe Andrina will want to say a few words about that, since she's joining us.
Hi. Yeah, it was really nice to do. It was sad. A girl local with kitesurfer, Fiona, passed away from bowel cancer. It's about a year and a half ago now, and she was really worried about being forgotten, and really wanted to give something back to the kiting community for girls. So it was really nice to do that for her, and help St. Barnabas, who helped her towards the end of, I guess, her being poorly.
Yeah.
They rely completely on donations. They don't get anything from the government.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought, I mean, for me, that was a really powerful cause, and it obviously was really close to the female kiters' hearts there. And the St. Barnabas Hospice was also there and joining the event with some people, and it was obviously really great to show that Fiona isn't forgotten, and her husband Rob was there filming us and everything. So it was something that I'm sure we will continue into the future as well. In New York, we had the Dream Extreme fundraiser again for the, oh gosh, third consecutive year. And we raised funds for steps to end family violence once again. We didn't reach the 100,000 US dollar mark last year, but it was still 93,000. Even there, we could feel the financial situation that's unfortunately very true right now. So in all those events, we try to raise as much funds, obviously, for other charities that help causes that either support women around the world, or obviously causes that are really close to the hearts of the women in that area. And the fundraising was done in completely different ways in some of the events. We had in Lansing, for example, we had a raffle. We had in San Francisco and New York, we had silent auctions. We had fundraising dinners. We just did that actually also in Vietnam in the last event. And it was really good, I think, for everyone to really try and explore the opportunities of raising funds. So something that hopefully all of us can also learn from in the future. The next program within our global programs is the KB4Girls competition coaching. And I've listed that separately because it really is something that KB4Girls was supporting from the very beginning. It was one of our original goals. And so therefore, it's also something that we don't want to totally forget. And it was great for me to be able to do some competition coaching again last year at the KTA event in Thailand. Really super exciting to see everyone being so stoked and being so motivated, and just good to see how much it can actually help if you can just give a few tips and make somebody feel a little more confident. And the great experience again, like already the year before was the Lansing event, where we again, in cooperation with the British Kiteboarding Association, big thanks to them, were able to hold a girls only event again. The cool thing last year was that we actually had the first day of the event together with the kickoff ceremony of the or the opening ceremony of the Olympic Games. So we had the whole event under the Olympic motto, and it was really fun to have our own KB4 Girls mini Olympics with fun competitions, team competitions, individual events, and to see how the girls really pushed each other and themselves again through that. So big thanks here to the KTA for the cooperation and to the BKSA for their incredible support with the girls only competition. All right, and that brings us to really the most important part, though, the KB4 Girls chapter program, which we've actually launched in November 2011. And we had that as a part of our annual report last year already, and we discussed the whole chapter program in last year's annual general meeting. At which point we actually had 6 chapters signed on, and it's been quite amazing that we've been able to sign on 15 further chapters throughout the 2012 season, and to then see how everyone took action and how all local communities really got started and what great work everyone has done. And the most exciting thing about it too was that everyone has different ideas and everyone is, you know, having so much energy and trying different things. And I think it's really important that we actually bring this all together, which is why it's so great to have so many of you here today and to just exchange ideas and how best practices, probably what worked for you and what works great. And yeah, so that we can all learn from each other and keep doing such a fabulous job. But I would like to officially welcome all the chapters that we've included into our program last year. The one in Lansing in the UK, Levante in Spain, Lake Garda, Italy, Vieste, Italy, Rome, Italy, South Germany in Germany, Charleston, USA, the Outer Banks in the USA, Long Island, USA, Seattle, USA, Melbourne, Australia, Tel Aviv, Israel, Mouine, Vietnam, Elguna, Egypt, Essaouira, Morocco, and I would also like to welcome the chapter in Albany, Australia, that has joined us this year so far. And a huge thanks also obviously goes to those chapters that already were included in 2011, which are the chapters in Cabarete, Dominican Republic, the Sunshine Coast, Australia, Ontario in Canada, Gokova Bay in Turkey, Baja, Mexico, and Nelson, New Zealand. And yeah, each of these KB4 Girls chapters, basically, and that's mostly for Elena, I guess, who's joining us new, is running local programs in their area on a regular basis within their kiteboarding season. And the main goal of that is to really create a local female community, to build a platform locally for females that are already kiting or that want to get into the sport, to give them the support that they don't usually feel within that mostly male dominated kiteboarding community. And it really creates a pretty amazing female only environment, I guess, in which girls usually really push themselves in a completely different way and just dare for more and gain more self-confidence and so on. It's there are some pretty incredible stories out there that are really inspiring and that keep us motivated to do this. I, for myself, I have experienced that, and I'm sure many of the other ambassadors have too. So huge thanks once again to all of the chapters and to everyone, obviously also on the board, that keeps doing such an incredible job. I've listed some 2012 accomplishments here, just in numbers very quickly, that I'm not going to read out now, but you can read them all again when it's online or when you get this. I pretty much already read all of them. One point that I might want to highlight is that in those 21 chapters that we ended up having last year, actually 102 chapter events were realized, which at the end of the year, when I counted that and I put it in the press release, in the wrap up season press release, I was just kind of stunned about the huge number of events that have been realized and that have been able to reach out to so many more girls than we would have ever been able to do just within the global events. So something that's pretty incredible. Thanks again, everyone. All right, a few last little points here. The memberships, we still have three different membership categories: Chop Up members, Boost members, Superwoman members. Numbers have changed a little bit. While in 2011, Boost members, the $50 membership was actually higher than last year. We managed to raise more members overall, which is great because I think, just having the awareness is a great thing. Funny enough, with those numbers changing, we still managed to actually raise more membership money in 2011 than in 2012, but I don't think that's a big issue. In 2012, we received donations from the RK Mellon Family Foundation, somebody that we actually met at the Dream Extreme event in New York. Great support, amazing to have them make a donation to us. It was the first time that an outside foundation actually supported KB4Girls. Huge thanks for that. Best Kiteboarding and Fly Surfer were on board last year from within the industry. And we also got some donations through the KB4Girls website. So the total donations received were actually $14,784. You can see the whole profit and loss report online at this link here, but Laurie will also present that in a minute. And I've just tried to give you a very brief breakdown of the total income in US dollars, which you see obviously donations are the biggest part. And then also as well the expenses of where you can see that also our donations that went to other foundations actually is the biggest part once again. So the donations that we made to other foundations are smaller than the donations that we had incoming, but still a big part of our program expenses. And the other big expenses are the event expenses and the operations. But I am not going to get into detail. Sorry, Laurie. Sorry for that, Laurie.
No, no problem.
And then, just partners and ambassadors is the last point here in our annual report, but it's definitely one of the most important ones. I can't emphasize that enough. But without any of our chapter ambassadors, global ambassadors, local organizers, patrons and partners and media partners, we couldn't make the KB4Girls Foundation happen. So thank you so much for everyone. And I do need to add a few more chapter ambassadors here. I just noticed, but I will work on that and put that into the final version. Thanks so much. Thanks so much, everyone. That's about it for the annual report. Any questions? Any comments on that?
Great job.
Okay, thank you. Oh,
Yeah.
Sandy Parker has joined us. Hi, Sandy. Can you hear us? Nope. I hope she can hear us, but maybe we just can't hear her. Okay. Brings us to the next point. Laurie, I'd say I give it over to you.
Sure. Well, yeah, I went through and looked, and we had three different types of expenses in the ordinary income. First was direct public support, which was 14, almost 15,000. Program income due to membership dues and program services was about 7,600. So total income was 169.43, which is very nice. Expenses broken down into several categories. Looks like we had total fundraising and bank fees, total contract services, and business expenses. Let's just scroll down. So the total let's see. Total expenses 31. So we had a net loss of almost $7,000, so $6,895. So probably need to do a little bit better in managing the expenses and doing a little more fundraising to get that balance more in balance. As you know, it takes a lot of time and money to send Christine all around and to create the wonderful events that she does. And so maybe if we can focus on a little bit more, I don't really know how that works with a 501c3, if we can, I guess, raise funds for just the operating expenses. That's something I should definitely be looking into as treasurer. But overall, I think we're doing a good job, and everybody's working really hard. We just need to kind of rearrange how things happen so that we can get that loss into a more positive area. That's about what we got.
Perfect. Sounds great. Thanks so much for that, Laurie. We actually
Mhm.
have Suzette Fleming, our accountant, join us just in time. Suzette, can you hear
Oh
us?
yeah, hi Suzette.
Hi, how you
Ah,
doing?
cool. Awesome. We're
Sorry I'm
great.
late. I was in about an hour ago and there wasn't anything happening and I got out
Yeah.
and had to come back in.
Yeah, we had some technical problems. I actually had to call up the customer service there of GoToWebinar, but we figured it all out, and thanks a lot for joining us again.
You're
We
welcome. I'm glad to be here.
Thanks so much. So everyone, Suzette is our accountant that we've been working with for 2 years. She does an incredible job, makes our accounting incredibly easy, prepares all our tax statements and whatever it is that we need to file, and takes care of it. I'm not sure if we would even still have a nonprofit status if it wouldn't be for her, for her and Laurie, obviously. So thanks a lot for that. Suzette, Laurie was just running everyone through the accounts here, through the profit and loss. Is there anything that you would like to say about that, or I just give you a second if you do?
No, actually, it looks pretty good. I have updated the first quarter, so I need to get you that information. But yeah, everything is looking really good.
Except of the net income number, I guess.
Yeah, and for a nonprofit, that's pretty standard in the first few years as you're trying to get an idea of how to raise funds, how to keep your public status, or public funding status complete, and what expenses to expect each year, that sort of thing. So a nonprofit usually runs, well, any business actually usually runs in the red for the first 3 to 5 years
Mm-hmm.
when everything is being figured out and how to reach your target, how to get your grants and donations and that sort of thing. So um, even though you're in the red, it's not wildly out of control.
Yeah, I agree.
I see some that are in the hundreds of thousands in the red, and
Well,
that's when the IRS takes a look and goes, yeah, that's not quite right.
okay. Yep.
So yeah, it's not completely out of whack. Where we like to see it, closer to being break even or having some funds left over for next year,
Yeah.
that will come.
Okay. Great. Thanks so much. That was actually great insight, I think, for myself and hopefully also for
Yeah,
everyone else.
thanks, Suzette.
You're welcome.
The one thing that I've just had in mind when Laurie was going through this is actually the number that we came out here at the end of the season. We actually had something in our expenses last year that we didn't have in the year before, which was our part-time assistant, which was Mia in the first part of the season until she
Mm-hmm.
disappeared, and then Oli. So that number is
47.
this.
Yeah, it's the administrative outsource.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
so that definitely has added some expenses that then, we, I think, realized rather quickly that we can't actually really afford that at this point. While
Mm-hmm.
it really helped us to keep KB4Girls running last year with all my commitment to the KSP, it definitely didn't help us to bring this number down. But
Yeah.
once
Right.
again,
And the other thing to look at too is when you're giving your donations to your other
uh-huh.
groups and organizations when you're doing events, is to make sure that you take into consideration all the expenses you incurred to help along with their event.
Yeah, it's a bit difficult
and
at this
making sure.
point, I think, because the funds that we do raise for those charities are actually so low in themselves that if we would take off all the expenses that we have, there wouldn't be any donations left anymore. So, uh, I think if we can find um, ways to really raise funds for the KB4Girls Foundation and probably find more charities or like foundations like the RK Mellon Family Foundation, for example, that actually benefit KB4Girls, then that would obviously be great, but it's been
Right.
difficult. Yeah. But yeah, maybe we can just work on raising more funds and covering the fundraising costs from that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
grant writers.
What are the expenses that you include in the event? What can you include as an expense?
So what we actually I looked at that, especially when I did the annual report yesterday, and it looks like we have approximately an average of about $1,000 per event, global event last year. And it really varies on where the event is. It in some events it obviously takes quite a bit more travel expenses as in others, why in others will actually cover some costs like a barbecue or accommodation, or a rental car in New York, for example, is really necessary. So it just really varies from event to event what costs there are. But I guess on average, we can say that we actually do put about $1,000 into an event, at least last year. So if I look at it this year in Muine, for example, the travel expenses were obviously not really low because it's quite a long distance, but in return, C2 Sky, Liz and her partner have done an absolutely incredible job, and I mean, we really didn't have any costs there. They paid for the shuttle bus, and for the barbecue was a fundraising barbecue, and the party was all organized and stuff. So if we have a scenario like that, then it all brings it back into perspective, and the cost will approximately still be that same amount. Does that
Okay.
answer your question?
Yes. Thanks.
Any further
I
questions?
was thinking maybe in events, maybe we can do kind of sponsors because we are all using kind of kites and so on. So I don't know, maybe one of the company can or would like to sponsor some of the events. Was
Yeah,
that a thought?
I've approached pretty much all the big kite companies that I work with. Best Kiteboarding is supporting us again this year, while Fly Surfer actually pulled out from last year. They just didn't have it in the budget this year, but they say that next year they will be happy again to talk about it. We had situations like, for example, the KB4Girls event in Hood River that Laurie organized 2 years ago, where Slingshot actually put a quite a big amount of money into just that event, but yet Slingshot hasn't stepped up to actually support the foundation, which is totally fine for us. If a local organizer or a chapter ambassador like Laurie or like yourself find, in most cases it will then be the national distribution of that kite brand will find a national distributor that wants to support the event, supports the cause of KB4Girls, and wants to support the female kiteboarding community, then of course it's great if they put money into that event and give the event the possibility to actually be an amazing and even more amazing experience for the participants. In
No, that's
general,
for sure. But
yeah.
we try to do that locally, but I think that if you would be able to talk globally with them, because in each event, I don't know, for example, later on, the local distributor can, I don't know, give maybe discount for girls, because there aren't that many girls, but if it would be dominated that the girls are, I don't know, best rider, then the new girls for sure would try the best later on. Or I don't know, they have their marketing interest in that as well. So
Yeah. Well, the experience that unfortunately we've made in the last few years is that kiteboarding companies are not really all that supportive for the female community yet. I think they don't really see the market as female participation in kiteboarding is really quite small still at this point.
yeah, yeah.
So, I mean, there is a couple of kite brands that actually invest into the sport and into the future of it. But mainly, obviously, they have to look at their marketing budgets and see how they can make it work the best to actually promote the brand as far as they can.
Yeah, for sure. But also, as you can see, the expenses here are not that big. So also for them in the marketing expenses. But okay, if you thought about it.
Well, yeah,
Christine,
I mean, if you have any needs, then, hook me up and I'm happy to talk to them. But as I said, I've already approached the international marketing departments.
Mm,
And
okay.
in the case that there is a local distributor that's in favor of supporting KB4Girls, then it might be possible to actually do something together with him and then actually approach the international marketing, kind of together with the distributor saying, hey, we want to support this. And that might be a
Okay.
bit easier in that case.
Can I add something to the
Sure.
answer of that question?
Hmm.
I have the experience that the brands locally give quite easy discount. Like Best last year gave the 2012 boards for €100 dealer price.
Hmm.
So that gives me the option to sell them for 121, adding the 21% tax of Italy. Also North, like Boards and More and Iron, you send them one email and they give you 50% discount. For me, it worked really easy to get just discount. It just takes a small investment from your side to buy the t-shirts or the boards, and then you have the option to sell them cheaper
Yeah.
than a normal shop would to the girls. It just takes a little bit of money to start and to invest it yourself. But I had no problems getting t-shirts or boards or kites cheaper than the normal price.
Is that because you have a
Okay.
school, or I mean, I don't think everyone can just call there and do that. What's their reason behind that?
Were
Hello.
you speak? Yeah, I could not hear anything for a moment.
I say, did they do that because you have a school, or can anyone just call and get discount?
I think anyone can just call in at the end of the season, especially they all have a stock to get rid of.
Yeah.
And then they are easy with doing discounts, and brands like Boards and More, like North and Iron, they are in general quite
Yeah.
easy to sponsor local riders, partly, not fully, just partly, and sponsor events.
Yeah.
So I have the idea that it's not because I have a school, it's just helping them clear their stock,
Yeah.
and they are happy to give discount. Like, I don't think that they're actually losing money. I
Mm-hmm.
think they're just not making extra profit, and it
Yeah.
just helps them clear their stock.
Yeah.
And you needed to tell them how many boards you want to buy, or you just close the
Yeah,
price
it
and
does.
then you ask the girls who
It does
wants
not
them.
work for one board because you have shipping cost. So I
Mm-hmm.
got last
Mhm.
year 10 boards and I paid €1,000. And
So
then now
20
I still
board?
have
So
two
you
boards
ask,
left to
so
ship.
the girls bought it before in order for you not to have any
No,
inventory and.
it takes an investment and a risk from my side. Like now I still have two of those boards, but I just put them in the shop
Mhm.
of our kitesurf school and I sell them to girls for the discounted price. So it takes a little bit of money to start to invest in it, but then you can give something back to girls at that moment or later.
Yeah,
Should
but
it,
for us, we don't have a shop or anything. It's not our business. So as a private
No,
person, it's a bit of a
yeah,
problem.
then it's a bit more difficult, but the easy way to get something from a brand is not to ask them to give it for free, but to ask to give it discounted.
Okay.
yeah.
this is,
Okay, we'll try.
hey ladies, this is
Thanks.
Elia.
Hi.
I just wanted to make a quick mention. Christine, as I had sent you an email, I think one thing that I would like to note to possibly consider is creating one event for the year where we just make it focused on raising funds for the organization
Mm-hmm.
and reminding everyone globally what we're doing and why it's important to support the organization, so that we can continue to do what we're doing, and making it sort of a group effort on all the chapters parts as coming together and creating one fundraiser for the year for specifically KB4Girls, which would help us, again, keep the funds coming in, and then we can focus our energies on our other organizations throughout the rest of the year.
But I think it's definitely something to consider.
Yeah. And I'm really happy that Laurel is making notes right now because I think there are some great ideas. We also discussed that last year, and we're kind of jumping ahead in our agenda here a little bit because we're kind of like at point 8 now at member engagement and fundraising. But it obviously is a point that ties in really closely with the profit and loss statement. So maybe we can pull that forward. And we last year in the annual general meeting, we were also discussing on how to raise funds and different ideas like the ones that you're bringing in now. And we came up with the idea of actually hiring somebody to write grant applications. I just wanted to quickly update you on that. I actually hired someone through Elance this year, and she wrote 10 grant applications to charities. And unfortunately, we haven't heard anything back from any of those charities. So it hasn't been very successful as of yet. But I think that's actually really interesting. What Micah was saying is that basically, if you have a budget to actually work with, that you can, yeah, for example, buy boards and then sell them for more. I'm not even sure if we would be able to and allowed to do that as a nonprofit association, but I'm sure Suzette would be able to tell us that. Or any or any other things like actually being able to hire somebody that is really professional and has a lot of connections with foundations that actually do write grants to other charities. That obviously would make things a lot easier. And once you have a budget to work with, then it's easier to actually generate budget. But what Shall Have It was also just saying is they don't have a shop. They also, as a chapter, don't have a budget to work with. So I guess the challenge we're facing right now, as well as the idea that Elia just brought up again, which I think is a great one, creating this event. Um, yeah, as long as we can come up with ideas that help us at this point to create something with nothing or with the money that we come back in the minus right now, to just make it out of there and move forward, then obviously that will help us to grow the foundation.
Christine, can I just make one quick add-on?
Please.
And that would be just that I think as far as the idea of people buying discounted gear, I think the only thing there to be aware of was just to be really careful of your relationships to shops that are already existing that are, kind of a part of the KB4Girls. Obviously, with me having a shop, if I am a retailer, then I'm definitely going to be concerned if I'm trying to support the KB4Girls, but then they're selling gear kind of on the side. So I would just say to be careful as far as making sure that you keep those relationships good if you're trying to incorporate other shops to support the foundation.
Yeah, and that's actually a really interesting topic. I just added one point here to the agenda. When Micah was saying that, I also thought about, Iron and North, they don't support KB4Girls at all at this point, unfortunately. But Dust and also Fly Surfer have actually supported KB4Girls financially last year. So it's not only that we have to be careful with the shops, but that's a really good point. Most of our chapters are connected to a school or to a shop, but also to those brands that actually support the foundation. We got to be kind of careful there that we don't step on one's toes, but really try to actually make those partners, ambassadors, and sponsors or donors happy that actually support us. And that's really been quite a challenge over the last 2 years, to try and figure out how that could potentially work. Also with what Shall Have It was saying earlier, can't we get local sponsors? When Slingshot signed on for that event in Hood River, I was at first going, well, they are not supporting KB4Girls globally. But I think in that case, we really just got to live with it and be happy that they actually support that event and actually put money into it. But if anyone can come up with a good solution for that and a good practice, then please throw out ideas, or even just when you think about it.
No, locally on our event, we actually didn't have much expenses because we managed. For example, we had this big event of the 200 girls that participate, And we had many experience for the girls, like first lessons in wakeboarding and SUP and kayaks and everything. So each we managed to bring those schools, and they offer it for free, and they brought all the equipment and so on, because they understood that first lesson is never enough, and the girls probably will come, rent equipment, take more lessons, and so on. So we emphasize for them the benefit for them as well. So they come along, and nothing. It was non-cost for us.
That's
But I think
great. That's
sorry.
great. That's a great example. I think every chapter.
Yes, and that's how we managed to bring so many schools together, and so many girls and so on. But also we had kind of a small sale of we got prices from shop, for example, a lycra from North, and so on.
Yeah.
And we did an auction.
Yeah.
So that money went for charity later.
Perfect.
But I'm sure that if we will do it globally, and we would talk with global marketing, it will be easier for the local that don't have the time to do that, because I don't know, in our chapter, me and Orit and myself, we are working other things, and we don't have always all the time for that. We were very excited to do those events, but for example, in the event in the LAT, we still didn't manage to bring all that presents and so on. But
well,
so I don't know if.
Which is totally fine, I
Sorry?
think. The idea behind the chapter events is not necessarily to have a lot of goodies for the girls and to offer them lots of things for free. It is, of course, offering them something free, but it's more the community. I guess it's really to build that local community and just give girls the possibility to come together and join in and do something together. The whole goodie bag and dinner and whatnot and accommodation and trip thing was really originally more the KB4 Girls global event idea. But obviously, it's been really great to see that chapters all around the world have actually been doing something like special events like that, like you girls have done an amazing job with. Yeah, I mean, I talked to Best, I talked to Fly Surfer, I talked to F1, I talked to Northern Iron. We tried to talk to Slingshot. I talked to Cabrina. In fact, when they came out with their siren, whatever, they were actually really interested at first, but never came through with it. And I just met with their brand manager last week.
Just imagine, for example, you coming to a global event, like you coming to a lot, and the local distributor knows that when you are there, I don't know, he gets from the global dealer 50% because it goes for marketing expenses. So I don't know, at least 5 boards will go like that, because it's a great opportunity for them, and for the brand, it's a great marketing, because he can write, wow, there was an event, 5 girls bought, or I don't know, they can find their news.
Yeah. Try to tell brands something. It's not very easy.
Yeah, I'm sure it's not easy, but I think that in this form we can find some ideas, or maybe leads, or
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's actually quite amazing. Yeah, go ahead.
Maybe first just ask for a discount and give them something back. And when you give them something positive back, like an article in a magazine, like a movie online, then the next year you can start to ask for things for free. But brands are not so eager to spontaneously give things for free, because they make a budget.
Yeah.
And they don't have that much backup option to sponsor things for free. And
yeah, not for
I
free,
think
as
the
I
best
said, a
way
big
to get
discount.
started is with discount and give them the brand something back, and then maybe later you can get something for free.
Yeah, and that actually works, I think, really well with Best. And I did think that it also worked well with F1 last year because we included her, their main female team writer, and she was writing stories online, and we got a couple of magazine articles for her, and it still didn't seem to have been enough value for them to actually continue to support the KB4 Girls Foundation this year. Well, with Best, obviously, we've kind of really worked on how to make it work for them and how to really make it valuable for them with the KB4 Girls board. Um, it's kind of difficult, and obviously it's easiest for me to work with Best since I am writing for them. I've always been kind of neutral to all the other brands, and I'm really in close contact with most of the CEOs or brand managers or whatever. But it's difficult to make it worthwhile for many kite brands, and that's what I was trying to say earlier. It's why it's so difficult, to try and actually give a brand the global visibility that they want, or that it makes it worth for them to actually put money into the KB4 Girls Foundation, but yet then still try and work with possible other brands to actually benefit chapters or local events or global events in certain areas. There's such a fine line there to try and not step on any global sponsors' toes, and to still find sponsors that possibly only want to have the budget in a local event, or that benefit the most from having an event in a certain area. Um, it's just unfortunately I'm not a marketing specialist. I've been really trying to become one, but it's not easy.
Yeah.
And
This
it's really
is
quite mind blowing how
yeah.
many things we have tried in the past.
This is Susan. The one other thought I had would potentially be to branch out and think about whether or not some of the girls' athletic clothing companies, like
Hmm.
Athleta or something like that, that does some swim surfs up stuff,
Hmm.
might be interested, and none you're not.
Yeah, yeah,
Sort of
that's
being able to market it as kiteboarding's the new up and coming thing. This is sort of a new market for you, and
let
also the advantage of not competing with
yeah.
knitting.
Let me ask you a question about that very quickly. Dealing with a nonprofit association in Germany, I've actually just recently learned that you can't actually declare anything as sponsorship. It all has to be donations. And you also can't actually, partner with a brand and benefit them through that. Is that the same in the US?
I don't think so, because I know that athletic sponsors, I don't know if it sponsors or donates to Run for a Cause and a couple of the other, which are also nonprofit, sort
Okay.
of like let's get people running
Okay.
organizations.
That's good. So
Um,
that's
so I
definitely,
don't know what the terminology is, and I can look it up because I actually used to do nonprofit
yeah.
grant stuff in my
Yeah.
life.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, I mean, that really does give us the opportunity to reach out to more brands like that, like female clothing, or yeah, G-Shock, Baby G, which we had in the past and stuff like that.
Right, and it may be phrased slightly differently, but I think that it's probably possible to
Okay,
come up with
cool.
some wording.
Thank you. All right. Any other ideas, comments to fundraising, and then also the member engagement now that we are at point 8?
Kristen, it's Jeanette here. I wasn't sure if you had mentioned if you spoke with Wayman, Hawaii.
No, I haven't talked to Wayman Hawaii. Not about KB for Girls, anyways.
Okay.
And,
Okay, thank you.
um,
I will.
working with the kiteboarding industry very closely and closer than ever in the last 2 years, it's quite shocking how very few of the brands actually do have a proper marketing budget. And
Right.
Wayman is, you know, a very small brand with very limited possibilities. So they wouldn't have been the first ones to approach, but since I'm on Maui, I can easily just talk to them if that's something that you want me to do. Because you work with Wayman, yeah?
That would be awesome. I have the distributorship for Canada, most of Canada for Weinman.
Perfect. All right. That's a great
And I
point.
want to see what I can do.
Yeah, maybe I can just contact them and see if they actually want to do something
Your
with your
influence will
chapter.
definitely add to mine. That's awesome.
Great, yeah, I'll do that next time I see them on the beach.
Super.
Hey,
Oh,
girls,
you're in
I
such an
need to
awesome
say
little group.
goodbye. I'm sorry.
Yes.
It would be awesome, and I understand that later on you will send everybody what you are going to discuss later on.
Yeah, we're gonna. Laurel is making notes right now. We're gonna send the minutes to everyone, and then I'm also gonna put the recording online, so you can just jump in after the first hour and watch the second hour.
Okay, thanks.
Oh,
Sorry. Bye bye.
no worries.
Great job, Christine.
Goodbye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Looking
Take
forward to
care.
seeing you
Bye.
soon. Bye. All right. Any more member engagement and fundraising ideas?
For my snow kite chapter, I at the end found a bit of solution to have like one day to offer for free for girls for snow kiting because I was struggling with all my activities that I ask money for it. For the reason is that Lake Garda, all the kiting is done from boats. So I cannot invite people to stay on the camping, pay for their camping and pay for the boat Benson and everything. The
Yeah.
same with the snow kiting. I cannot pay for their accommodation. So when I organize a camp, I don't make profit. I ask money what I need for the accommodation for them and things. Now I had the idea to at the last day of the camp make like a trial day completely free of charge, like with trainer guide, and that the girls who have been all week at the camp can help with the new girls with the trainer guide, so that basically the participant of the camp, they put in the effort to make other girls learn for free.
That's a great idea. I love that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And
Just
and what I
the
also
problem which you also told me before is that I cannot write anything on the KB4Girls page because I ask money for the events.
Well, what I was telling you, and I've also told that other chapters, is that the KB4Girls events are meant to be for free, but the local chapter events as well as the global events. But if there's any cost involved, like accommodation or gear renting or whatever it was that was actually coming up to your cost, then and that's actually something that I also told shall have it that just went away for the next upcoming chapter there in Israel, is that you know they will have accommodation and shuttle sorted out for all the girls, and they actually have put up a registration site where girls can register and actually pay for whatever it is they want. And so right now they actually had, or before they put it online, they had two options on there, and one was with accommodation and one was with shuttle, but they didn't actually have an option without any of the shuttle and accommodation. So I just asked them to also put the option without the accommodation and the shuttle in there, so that it is obvious that the actual clinic is still free, but
Yeah.
that they can actually book the free clinic with the shuttle or with the shuttle and accommodation. You know what I mean? So that's what I was trying to tell you back then as well, that if you make it obvious that the cost is actually covering something, then that's totally fine. But we just want the girls to know that the actual clinic is actually a service, a free service to them.
Yeah, I understand that.
So that actually worked quite well, and actually a shame that she just left, but I think that's a good idea for any chapter in the future that wants to do an event where there is actually some cost occurring for the girls if they want to take advantage of anything specific, like in this case the accommodation or the shuttle. Shall have it has a product, an online product that she can easily uh, set up the registration websites for that. And so if any one of you, or if any of the chapters actually have an interest in that, we can easily set that up in the future.
That would be great. That would make it a lot easier to explain that non-profit doesn't mean free of charge, but that it is, non-profit.
Yeah. Yeah. Perfect. Sounds great. Okay. To maybe wrap up point number 8 here, um, since we haven't really had any suggestions about the member engagement or member well signing on members. I've already just pointed it briefly when we went through the annual report earlier. We did manage to sign on more members last year than in the year before, which I think really had a lot to do with the chapters and with the chapter challenge. And some of the chapters actually did a really good job with it. It I think also helps that we already had members the year before, and then obviously they get an email, renew your membership and stuff. So hopefully we will be able to raise members from year to year. I think you'll always lose members along the way. Not everyone that has signed on 1 year will also sign up the next year. But if we keep spreading the message through the KB4 Girls chapters and actually, telling everyone about the memberships and including that really into that chapter challenge, then I think we should be able to continue signing on more members for KB4 Girls and just really getting them involved. And we had discussed that in last year's AGM as well, but now members actually do receive a personal email. At first it was from Mia, then it was from Uli, now it is from me, when they sign on either to just the website or actually sign on for a membership and just get welcome to the foundation and get told all the different things, how they can get involved with the foundation and what they can do and where they can find their nearest chapter and stuff like that. So we've tried to really focus on engaging the members more.
Yeah, this is Ellie. I was going to say, I mean, I think the biggest thing for getting member engagement is just really making sure we're all clear on, what are the perks of being a member. And since, going to the clinics is free, which is a great thing, but then at the same time, trying to figure out how can we really motivate people to become a member when they can go to their local chapter and kind of just, go to the events for free. So it always seems a little bit like a catch-22, and hopefully, they sign on because they see the value that they're getting and they want to support.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Those are the kind of members that we really like.
Yeah.
but I've really tried to figure out how we can benefit the members more. And the whole
Yeah.
idea with the KB4 Girls board at first was with the discount that hopefully all of you saw, was that we'll offer that just to the members. But with the limited number of members, it wasn't really worth it for Beth to start this whole promotion. So in the end, it was actually then a 15% discount for everyone that wanted the board kind of thing. But yeah, it's I think the more members we will actually have, the bigger number of members, the easier it will be to actually get special discounts or benefits for them. But as long as we have such a limited number of members, it's just difficult to actually sell it to anyone. Hey, we have
Yeah.
we have
Yeah. So I
100
guess,
KB4 Girls members.
yeah, it's really about brainstorming what we can do to offer. And maybe it also goes along with just that fundraising idea and really making sure people understand, really what it is that the foundation is doing and how it's helping, and sort of really tugging on people's heartstrings in a sense that this is making a really big difference in people's lives,
Yeah.
in women's lives, and how specifically are we empowering them?
Yep. Very good point. I love that. And in fact, if there is no spontaneous member engagement and fundraising thoughts right now, then maybe we move over to the 2013 programs and goals, as I think we will probably be touching on some of those points in those listed points there as well. Is that fine with everyone?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. All right, then point number 7. So working together for a cause. And I think really important is that everyone actually feels passionate for the cause and actually sees a real meaning behind the cause in the first place. And then how can KB4 Girls benefit the chapters working for that cause? And how can the chapters benefit the foundation that works for the cause? Because in the end, it's like it should really be everyone working together to reach the goal of actually benefiting the cause as a whole. And I've just been thinking about that recently in the last few days. I'm like just to tell you some of my personal thoughts on that. With Uli and Mia not being there anymore, but with actually the foundation having, you know, put quite a bit of money into them, and me working on that now, we have definitely really tried to, I guess, I don't know how much they've actually tried, but we're really trying to work together with the chapters. And I've really tried to kind of figure out what works better, what doesn't work so well, how can we benefit the chapters, and try to get some feedback from them. And there was some great feedback already, but I think it's really, really important that you girls, the chapter ambassadors, continue giving feedback whenever there's an idea, continue sending it in. And it might not always be possible to actually realize it straight away, but I've actually made a sheet that's in the KB4Girls Dropbox that is that lists all the ideas that anyone has ever sent over, and you know, I'll regularly look on there and see if we've come any closer to realizing one of those points or stuff like that. But you know, it kind of has been, and I totally understand that, because I know how busy everyone is, and I am busy myself, so I can really relate to that very well. You know, I think it would be great to also feel the probably the motivation from the chapters to actually give that feedback, if you know what I mean. I mean, I kind of feel like I've been sending out so many emails lately to everyone that I feel like I'm bothering everyone, and I don't know if that's too many emails, if I should send more, if I should send more regularly, if you know, how can I engage the chapters more, or how do the chapters really want to feed back into the foundation, and how does everyone think that exchange could work the best? Ideas, please.
I think the amount of emails is good. If I'm in a hurry, I read them quickly or I save them for later. If I have more time, I click on the links and go more into detail. I think it leaves you quite free on how much time you spend on it or not.
Uh-huh. That's good to hear. I felt like, oh my God, another email.
Emails coming.
Anyone else?
I am freely admit that I'm sometimes deadline oriented. Um,
You're deadline
I don't know.
oriented?
Yes, I'm deadline oriented.
And who's speaking? Sorry.
This is Susan. Sorry.
Oh, okay, perfect.
And so there may be some degree that if there's something that you want specific feedback on, giving a time frame is very helpful to me.
Okay. Perfect. Great comment. I like that. Is
I
there?
think the Facebook page that was created for the ambassadors was a really great idea.
Uh-huh. Only that nobody has been on it lately, I don't think, but
Yeah, but I think if we were on it more, you know, it's a great platform for discussion.
yeah, it really seems Facebook is working easy for everyone these days. Yeah. Other ideas? How do you girls think we could really make it easiest for you to give very quick feedback, or to just feed into the foundation in one way or the other? Is there anything that you can think of? I actually found that the poll that we had for the time and the date of this annual general meeting actually worked incredibly well. I was quite surprised by how many actually did it, and rather quickly did it. So that seemed to have been an easy thing. Was that easy enough for everyone?
Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
Okay.
Yes.
I think if you want specific questions answered, polls work great because it's easy to go on and click.
Yeah. Yeah. So maybe if we do have a question that we want to reach out to everyone with quickly, then something like that, just like an online poll or something where you just have to click a button. That's probably actually a good idea. Good.
Yeah, actually, that could be a great way to kind of yay or nay an idea.
Yeah. Yeah. Not like writing an 200 word long email and you have to read through it. So that could be something that could work in the future. That's good. And yeah, go for it.
Hi, this is Liz speaking.
Mhm.
Hi. I actually think that this webinar, what we're doing today, tonight, for me, is a really good thing. And I think maybe if we try to do it, bring it in more often, and maybe not everybody can join, but some of us. And I think maybe before actually having a webinar is just talking about some points that we would like to actually discuss, and think of options, and maybe then everybody can come up with ideas. So having a webinar more frequently, and actually pointing out what we need to talk about, and what ideas, etc.
That's great. I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
We tried that last year. We actually decided at last year's annual general meeting that we would have another meeting 3 months later. Nobody joined.
But I think,
we will try it again.
maybe, I think personally, maybe not 3 months later. Maybe let's try to do it maybe monthly.
Okay.
I don't know if that works with you, but I mean, why not? And maybe not everybody can join, but let's say if 5 join is better than, nobody joining.
Yeah. If it's not 4 o'clock in the morning every time, then I'm totally fine with that. But yeah, I mean, I think with the poll that I found there, the I don't even remember what it's called. It's quite easy to actually find a time that works for most of the possible attendees. And if that's something that you think is really helpful, which is great to hear, then I'm more than happy to do that.
Yeah. I just find even just listening to everybody and everybody's ideas is inspiring me, and thinking, right, I've got to do it this, or I can do it like that. And it's very, very helpful, just even listening, and it just inspires you to do better.
Perfect. That sounds great. Love it. Yay.
Yes.
Any other ideas, thoughts on that?
I think it's a great idea. I think the more that we can stay in touch with each other, really, again, the better it keeps everyone more motivated throughout the year. Because when we only get together once a year, I think kind of what happens is after we meet, everyone gets a rush of energy and they do a lot of stuff, and then we sort of get
That's great. Yeah, I love
we
it.
get lost again. So I'm definitely for that idea.
Perfect.
It also allows us to look at the financials more frequently as well, and take a look at your expenses and how things are going and how the fundraising is, and possibly what more you need to do to cover the expenses throughout the year, if that makes sense.
Yeah, makes a lot of
Yes, definitely.
I would maybe suggest every other month.
Okay. We let's get some idea on that. Is every month too often for everyone? Is every other month something that would suit most of you better, or what are time frames that you girls are looking at?
Send a poll about it, and everyone can click his preference.
Perfect.
Yeah, there you go.
Laurel, if you could make a note about that for me in the to-do list, that would be awesome. Thank you. Yeah, sounds great. Okay, we send out a poll about that. We find out how often we want to do it, but we definitely do want to meet more regularly and be more in touch. I really love that. I'm actually really excited about that. Yay! And I think that actually really ties in rather closely with the KB4Girls website, which is the point that's in the bottom here. But for me, that really has been the best way to kind of stay in touch with you, because obviously most of you have been busy, and not everyone is getting back to my emails. In fact, a small percentage of you is getting really back to my emails. So whenever you post something on your chapter blog, then I see what you're up to, and I'm really interested in reading it. And I love reading your blogs, and just keep I can't read it every day, but I make a point of actually going on the website as often as I can, and see what everyone is up to. But it also has actually been one of the biggest challenges, I think, not only for me, but also for each of the chapter, to actually keep the blogs updated regularly, and to just even really find a line through their blog, and how to lead it, and how to write, and what to write, and stuff like that. So I've been really trying to talk to those chapters that I was able to meet in the last few months. I went to visit the chapter in Melbourne, and I met with Fiona from the Sunshine Coast, and obviously with Liz. in Vietnam. So, it seems like posting a blog post is really quite time consuming right now. And I think a lot of you probably also don't really see the chapter page on the KB4Girls website as something hugely beneficial to them at this point. But from the foundation's standpoint, it actually is really important to have your chapter pages updated for every girl that actually comes on the KB4Girls page and wants to become part of it. They will go and search where is the chapter closest to them and look at the chapter page and see what have they been up to lately. And if there's nothing posted there, then it's obviously not really motivating for them to actually try and contact you or come to the next event. And if there is not the necessary information on there on when the next event is, where the next event is, where the meeting point is, when the meeting time is and stuff, then it makes it more difficult for girls that aren't already part of your group to join. So I've really tried to come up with the best possible solution for um, making it easier for you to post things first of all, but also to keep your chapter pages updated as easy as possible. And the one main thing that everyone that I talked to came up with so far was to actually add a Facebook feed from their KB4Girls Facebook page on their chapter block, so that it's easy for them to actually post something to their Facebook page quickly and it will still show up in the chapter page in some one way or the other. So trying to include all that, and also trying to make it easier for you to actually post a blog and include that all in the website. I've actually posted a job on Elance and just found someone to take the KB4Girls website from the Joomla platform, what we're on right now, to the WordPress platform for $300. He's going to start working
Much better.
in 2 days, and WordPress is going to be a lot more intuitive and easier for everyone to actually work with. So I'm really excited about that. He is excited to start working on it. And what I've told him basically is that I'll talk to you girls about anything that you would like to see included in the new KB4Girls website, and any ideas that you have about that. So if you have anything to add on the Facebook widget, or if you have any thoughts on that Facebook widget on your chapter page, then please shoot now. And Laurel, please make notes. Very important.
Hi, Christine. This is Sandy. Can you hear me now?
Yep, I can. Yeah, perfect. Hi,
Um,
Sandy.
board sports. Jane and I were a chapter last year or the year before,
Yep.
and we tried doing the website on the KB4Girls, and we were unsuccessful each time we tried, and so we've just used we made a Facebook KB4Girls for San Francisco. So that's kind of how we've kept in communication. So unfortunately, we haven't really used the KB4Girls website.
Ah, interesting.
Only because it was never working for us. And we did try contacting, I guess it's Maya last year about it, but nothing ever, we got busy and nothing ever got finalized.
Oh, that's interesting. I actually did remember getting an email from Jane about it, that she was trying to post something, and I replied to her, but then I never heard back from her. So I didn't know you girls were having a Facebook page, but that's great. And that's actually a really good point. If I go to Facebook and I enter KB4Girls, there's a lot of chapters coming up, yet there isn't all the chapters coming up. So I've actually sent an email at some point a couple of months ago asking first of all the chapters that didn't have a Facebook page yet to set one up, and then to add me as an administrator, so that I will actually be able to see your pages and link to your pages, and we can cross pollinate whatever things. So if you haven't done that, and I think that also needs to go on a to-do list, we need to really put together a file with all the chapter Facebook pages with all the URLs and
I'll have Jane do that because she actually is fully in charge of the Facebook side.
Perfect. Great.
She's the only administrator on it, so
she should
I'll
make
have
you
her
an
contact you.
administrator too.
I know.
It's actually really amazing, you know, how easy it is to make somebody an administrator and how much easier it is to have multiple administrators if they can always take care of the things
Yeah.
and they can just post something once in a while.
This is Susan. The other thing, I recently created ours, but we had a bunch of members who wanted it as a group so that they could chit chat on it as well. And we ended up doing that, which I then know means it's not linkable and probably the widget won't work. So that's the other sort of question, issue, etc. Is do we have like a page and a group, or just the group? Switch it over to a page,
Yeah.
or what the sort of
Yeah,
best
that's
way to
right.
handle that?
Yeah, we had that issue the other day when I was posting your post and I couldn't actually link to you. Maybe let's ask some of the other chapter ambassadors. Most of you have a Facebook page now. Does any one of you have experience with group versus page? What do you think actually works better? Um, help Susan a little bit here. No.
I have a Facebook page, although of course I realize I need to switch it over to KB4Girls because I have it as Air Club for Girls forever because I've got this group already on there. But
I was looking for you yesterday.
yeah, I just realized like why don't I have one of those? Oh yeah, because I have it under the other club. So,
But
um,
but you are pretty good with those things. Do you have any experience group versus page? And do you think that the page is probably the better way to go if we all want to link to each other and make it a community kind of KB4Girls Facebook thing?
yes, I think a page is definitely best, and I'm trying to rack my brain right now because I know I went through this a while back and kind of listed out the pros and cons.
Yeah.
I think the page is usually just easiest for making sure that kind of everybody can have access. I think the groups can get um, limited on what you can do.
Mm-hmm.
And then also with the page, you can really make sure that there's a bit more control on what's being posted.
Okay. But I guess I don't really think there is a disadvantage of having a page versus a group. So
Yeah, I don't, yeah.
There is a disadvantage to groups. I believe with a group, you have to be approved as part of the group, whereas when you have a page, they can like it and they can automatically see your information.
I think there's different kind of groups, open groups, closed groups, and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
The whole Facebook product, too many changes all the time.
Yeah. I would say especially just because there should be one person basically, heading up the page,
Mhm.
that makes more sense to make it a page. A group kind of relies more on everyone creating sort of this group effort to make
That's
it happen. Um,
that's
so I
an
think the
interesting
page
point.
would give someone more sort of control as far as what's being posted on there.
The
And
page
how
definitely, I mean, so I just went through this. The page definitely gives you more control, and I had missed the sort of linkable aspect, which
yes.
doesn't really matter.
Okay.
And the flip side of that is right now everybody's all excited and posting ideas and things like that, which they can do as comments. So I think
Yeah.
it's not a big deal. But the part of it is sort of the fun of everybody getting, all of the members getting all excited about thinking about things to do and
Okay.
wanting to try to meet up at other points in time.
Sounds like the best way for Susan to go will be a page, if that is of any help. And it will also make it possible, which I think is quite important for me to actually link to you on the KB4Girls fan page. And
Yep.
I think that's really what eventually we should be trying to create, like linking back to each other's pages, like you girls actually linking to the KB4Girls global page, and then obviously us linking to you every time we post something about your chapter and stuff like that. It really generates and creates a more of a community kind of feel online.
Okay.
All right. So let's come back quickly to the KB4Girls website though. Do you all like that idea of having a Facebook page, a Facebook feed from that according Facebook page on your chapter blog?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so what we thought about that is that I think the way that you write something on a Facebook page is still going to be different than if you actually write something on your chapter blog. So we still want to keep that option of the chapter blog. So each of you will still on the new website have a blog, and it should be easier for you to actually post on that blog. and it should be more intuitive. So basically what will happen is that there's going to be a blog widget. So there's going to be a square on that website, or a rectangular, or however those things are called, that actually has your blog post in there. And then there will be an area with your Facebook feed. And so whoever comes on there should at least see the Facebook feed is up to date. There will still be a widget with your contact details, contact information, and with obviously who is the chapter ambassadors, and with pictures and stuff like that. So for those chapter blocks, what we kind of figured with the girls that I talked to, and talking to girls that have tried to get in contact and become part of it, is the best thing, the thing that works the best is, I know that's a lot of time, and I know that not all of you will be able to make that, but pretty much post a couple of weeks before you have your next event with the exact time and date and meeting point, so that and make sure that you say, just come, it's for free, if they don't have to register. If they will have to register, then make sure that they know where to register, and we will be able to offer you that registration opportunity through Shall Have It service. Laurel, if you could make a note for me on getting Shall Have It to send that information to everyone, that would be awesome too. um, and then that way, any girl that comes to your chapter page will actually be able to join you. They will also be able to contact you, because your contact detail, which is going to be the KB4Girls email address, um, they will be able to contact you as well. And then basically, for them to know that actually past events have happened and how they have happened, and to make it easier for them to see what your chapter is all about, and how fun of a group it is to join. It definitely is really cool if you can find the time to update your your blogs after the event and just post a couple of pictures. And with that, it's actually really cool if we can tie that Facebook page in, because now you can also, or you will be able to then post the pictures on the Facebook page, and the pictures will still come up in your Facebook widget. um, I've even talked about the opportunity with that guy about just putting the Facebook pictures, like a picture Facebook gallery, into the blogs. I'm not quite sure if that's going to work yet, but we will try that. So they will see fun pictures from that, and it would be great if they can read a quick wrap up of that. And so I know it's a lot of time, but if any one of you or all of you could manage to do that, that would be epic. And that, I think, would really create more of a community feel for everyone that goes on the page and sees what chapters are doing, and so on. Any ideas, feedback, comments, please?
Sounds great. Sounds good.
Okay. Any other things that you would like to see on the new website?
Um,
How long do we have to think of this? When is it going into effect? The new website?
He's gonna start working on it in 2 days, and it's gonna go in 3 phases. It's scheduled to be done within 2 weeks, but I think if we go 3 weeks, we're probably a bit safer. So if you have any ideas within the next 2 weeks, then shoot them over to me, and I'll see if we can still implement them.
Okay.
This is Lori. Is there going to be a shopping cart, or have you guys talked about a shopping cart?
There already is a shopping cart right now, and there
Okay.
is supposed to be one again. However,
Okay.
since the only products at the moment that we're going to have on there are going to be the Palmera Local t-shirts, we've actually been
Oh, good. Okay.
talking.
That was my main thing.
Yeah, we've actually been talking. That's in one of the points below there, but we've been talking to them about giving us the embed code for their shopping cart on their website. So basically, all
Okay.
that happens is that the girls do shop on our website, but really they shop on their website and order
Yeah.
the products straight through them. So we don't have to have any warehousing and fulfillment, because
Right.
that again costs money. So
Yeah. Okay.
okay. So I guess we can probably move over to the next point, which is going to be quite interesting. What are our future goals? Do you girls have anything in mind about that? I know the KB4 Girls
quality.
actually, yeah, the KB4 Girls Foundation has actually kind of like moved into quite a few different directions in the last year. I mean, it started with just a global tour, then it branched out into the different events which had fundraising involved and the Unite events and so on. And then it really moved into that chapter direction more with still the global part there now. Do you girls have any visions for KB4 Girls? Do you any directions that you can see it heading in, or you would like to see it heading in as you are a part of it?
This was Elliot, and I would just say, I think I've mentioned it before, is maybe just considering incorporating other sports just to branch out.
Mm-hmm.
And continuing the concept of empowering women through sport, not just kiteboarding, but with stuff going nuts as it is, or wakeboarding, or whatever it might be, whether we would want to try to incorporate other sports or not.
Yeah, that sounds great. I actually had that suggestion from somebody outside of the sport as well. I'm just wondering, and that's good that we have so many of you here. I'm wondering how that will work for some of you. It should work better for those that have stand-up paddleboarding in their shops or school or whatever, or any other sports. Might be more difficult for other chapters. What do you girls think about that?
Well, for me, it works great because it does give me more options for things to do.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, it just really expands the audience of who I can bring in. So, if I have some girls that just aren't really sure kiteboarding is for them, trying to just bring them in with paddleboarding is great.
Are you running out of battery power, Kristen?
Yeah, I was running out of battery power. I just had to go upstairs and wake up Sky.
Okay.
I was sitting in a car. I figured at 6 o'clock it's time
You're
for him to
sitting in
wake
the
up.
car?
Huh? Yeah, we have a
You're
small
sitting in the
studio.
car?
Yeah, we have a small studio, so I didn't want to keep Sky awake from 4 to 6.
Oh,
But I got battery
anyway, I
power
think,
again, so we will be fine.
that's perfect. I didn't want to lose you. I think the idea of an SUPs or any other sports is awesome as well, simply because the actual day of an event doesn't always blow perfectly for kiting.
Other thoughts? Andrina, are you still there? Would that work for you? No, no, no. I don't think for Liz it would work so well with the SUPs, but I don't necessarily think it needs to be SUP. I think it just needs to be some alternatives for whenever there is no wind. So
Biking or any other activity,
yeah,
bicycling or yeah.
Yeah, just staying active really and promoting health.
Hike or yeah.
What I does is like longboarding. That's actually pretty good.
that sounds great.
Did you hear that? I think it's a good opportunity. Like if there's no wind out there, to just do longboarding at the beach.
Oh, longboarding at the beach. Yeah. I was thinking more surfing longboarding. That sounds fun too. What other? Yeah, I know in the UK we've just gone walking and hiking. What I think we could also maybe more emphasize on is on days like that to just do spontaneous beach cleanups or something like that. But I'm not sure how much that would engage the participants.
Yeah.
um, any
I
other?
know our group a lot of times will just go get like a bite to eat or a coffee, and then we brainstorm about fun things that we want to do when the wind is good.
That's great. I like that. I think we also had that before. I think Elia did it, video and stuff like that.
Whoa.
You're watching movie evenings. Hmm.
There's some serious dishes going on somewhere.
Somebody needs to mute.
Yeah, if anyone has noise in their background, you can just mute yourself, and then it will be quiet here. But it's actually not so bad right now. Um, yeah, but I think generally the biggest challenge about the just SUP, or if it's windsurfing or kayaking and whatsoever, is just really the gear. That's going to be easier for some chapters to access and more difficult for other chapters to access. But it's
Yeah.
good to know that in general you are open as chapter ambassadors to branch out to other sports. How do you feel about the name kiteboarding for girls in that case?
That's where it all changes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Activity girls.
Huh?
Active girls.
Active girls. Well, I don't think we'll
So
I don't think we'll really change the name since it's trademarked and we have a non-profit association set up by the name. But um, if what could KB for Girls stand for in that case?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. A K and a B. What other?
Christine.
Yeah, but I'm also only a kiteboarder, you know.
No, no, no. You're so much more.
Hi, ladies. This is Laurel talking.
Hi, no baby anymore sleeping.
Yeah, but I think he's woken up by now. I just wanted to say also that I think it's great to do non-wind activities. Like all of them are fantastic. And I think that though, looking at a big picture of an organization, that it's worthwhile to stay focused.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we are the KB4Girls. You know, sometimes narrowing your focus allows you to grow in a better way. So that's just something to consider as a big picture KB4Girls nonprofit
Yeah.
organization. And I mean, I guess the topic here was, you know, what are our future goals?
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, although, you know, when you look at any organization or any, you know, business or anything, you can do everything. And especially us, we're very powerful and capable. But sometimes it's better to really stay focused. So, you know, we just have to think about that. And at this stage, I would say, you know, because we have, like Christine said, the name is trademarked, the nonprofit is set up. We're all quite specialized in kiteboarding, and we're all really passionate about it.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
is a very, very good point, Laurel.
I like it too. I'm a kiteboarder, and I mean, you know, I know that most of you, probably all of you, have actually signed on because they're passionate kiteboarders as well, and we really want to try and support the females within the sport. But yes, you know, that I think that was really great to establish that, and it would be good to know if everyone feels that way, because I think we all established that the no wind activities are really important. But should we branch out in the way that the butterfly effect is doing it, or so? Maybe not. Any thoughts on that from anyone else?
I agree.
Elia, how do you feel about that?
I think
Yeah, me too.
Oh,
I think it's right now. I think it's true. I think Laurel is right. We should stay focused. But definitely, you know, being able to incorporate other sports when there's no wind is awesome. But yeah, I think maybe just staying focused with kiteboarding is probably the way to go to keep it less confusing.
mm-hmm.
And really just focus on getting KB4Girls more financially viable and kind of more stable and really fundraising for the organization itself.
Yeah. Cool. Sounds great. You know, I actually think what you just did in your last event, actually getting together with another water sports group in your area, that female group, is great. I don't think everyone will have that opportunity because there probably isn't groups like that in every area. But that probably really gives you more of an option too to branch out in a way that if you cooperate with them and you get together on a more regular basis, you know, you don't only always focus on kiteboarding, but you kind of do an exchange with them, probably,
Yes, definitely.
which is great. Cool. Okay, so I think we've established we want to do as many no wind activities as possible. Having a chapter event and not having any wind is no fun, but we can all still make it fun. We run across this problem a lot in the global events that are usually 3 days long, and we had events with 3 days of no wind. So there's a lot of trying to figure out what to do, keeping the girls entertained, and I think we've pretty much done everything, but mostly we also still focus on teaching them as much as we can by hanging up a bar and doing mental imaging and watching instructional videos and stuff like that, which I don't think the focus for the local events, for the chapter events needs to be on to actually make the no wind activities teaching in a theoretical form. But I think, as much as you can do to make it fun for the girls and still keep it active, it's great. And whenever any of you comes up with anything new that hasn't been tried before by any other chapters, please let the other chapters know. Let me know. I spread the word, and it can probably help the other chapters too. Good. Any other comments about future goals?
Yeah, it's Laurel again.
Yes.
So I think that that's great. So we've decided we're going to stay focused on kiting. We want to have a uh, a positive financial situation, like Elia said,
Uh-huh.
and focusing on the fundraising for the organization. So how many of the events do you have, like cause events planned on the global tour this year, Christine?
No, no. I mean, we do want actually the global events to always include some kind of fundraising. So, but on a much smaller scale. And in Vietnam, we raised those funds for long. In Israel, I know the girls have already planned something for a local charity as well. But it's mostly going to be smaller, like just a dinner, a fundraising dinner, or a fundraising raffle. The whole idea of having girls, the participating girls, create a fundraising page on the KB4Girls website and then raising funds through their friends and family hasn't really worked out so well, unfortunately. I mean, most of the participants never even set up a fundraising page before the event, and then it's just a lot of added stress and not really that much fun trying to get them to raise that money throughout the events. So we kind of stepped back from that a little bit. But we still have the Dream Extreme event in New York planned, which is definitely going to be our biggest fundraising event a year. And I think this is potentially going to be established as the fundraising event that KB4Girls helps to raise funds through for women in need. And if there would be another event or even two that go along those lines, obviously that would be great. But I think locally, most of the areas are just not potentially as wealthy as New York, for example. And so in those areas, it's a lot more difficult.
Okay.
Good.
So
Oh,
sorry, this is Laurel again. Um, so then is there a way to get either the global or the chapter events doing fundraising, and that money will go to the foundation so that we can just get people like ourselves? I don't know. Does that make sense? Am I making sense?
Yeah, you're making sense. The way we've tried to do that is pretty much just try to get the participants to sign on for membership, in which case they will actually donate $20 to the foundation pretty much. I'm not sure how the chapters feel about doing fundraising for the KB4Girls Foundation. I know that the UK girls have done it and that they're really super stoked on it. If it's Andrina cutting hair and donating the proceeds to KB4Girls, or if it's them doing a raffle and raising for KB4Girls, they've done a great job with that. But I just don't know how other chapters feel about that.
Christine, this is Sandy.
Mm-hmm.
Um, uh, Jane and I are planning a couple chapter events this year,
Mm-hmm.
and we were kind of considering that um, for the participants to join, that they'd actually have to be a member of KB4Girls,
Uh-huh.
just as kind of an incentive of, okay, if you want to, do a couple of these events, then you kind of should be a member of the KB4Girls.
Interesting.
So that way more people will, help fundraise or help the KB4Girls organization to help bring in some money and not really completely force it on them, but to show them that that's a way that they can actually be more a part of the community for whenever they do travel from place to place. If they do become a member, then they'll have more access to different chapter events in other locations. But to kind of try to push the membership a little bit more on anybody who does want to take and do one of the events, at least with us.
Yeah, interesting idea. From the experience that we've made from actually introducing just fundraising into the events, we've seen initially the participation number go down quite a bit. I don't know. I kind of have the feeling that that would also happen in that case, which would kind of not really benefit the cause of a KB4Girls local chapter of creating a female community with just a good healthy group of females that always come together. I wonder if maybe you would want to give the girls an event for free at first where they don't have to be a member, and then if they like it, they have, like, if they want to come back, then they would need to sign on for a membership or something like that. But it's definitely a thought to be considered. What does everyone else think about it?
I think that it's great because if you break down the membership cost over a year, it's practically nothing. It practically is free.
Yep.
When you look at it for all that you're getting.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess, if you are a returning participant and you come back for every event, and if your chapter actually puts together an event on a monthly basis, which, and if there is a good number of events per season, then I think you're actually getting a lot in other places that might not be the same amount of value. But, you can always travel around and find other KB4Girls chapters and work with them or join them. Yeah. Laurie, what are your...
This is Lori. I'm in agreement that there needs to be at least like one main event where we focus on the KB4Girls financial benefit.
Okay.
But as far as getting individual chapters to contribute, I don't know. Just having had some difficulty with the 2011 clinic, and it's kind of a turnoff, but at the same time, we really need to communicate the benefit that people get from, organizing into groups, and to realizing that KB4Girls exists for a reason, and we need to, really communicate that reason and make it worth people's, need to make them feel compelled to commit financially to some degree, to it. So I don't know. It's so, because like Hood River is such a strange place. I thought, I don't know. It's hard to talk about it without feeling a little weird. But yeah, some parts of the world that have, it seems, less financial resources do so much better at raising funds, and this area did so poorly at that. So, we got a good corporate response from Slingshot, but we didn't get a good individual response. So I think maybe you kind of have to temper each chapter's, personality, I guess, to that, and see how it works. But we can certainly try, and that's basically what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
What if we did it instead of, I've thought of two different fundraising ideas. One would be pitting chapters against chapters to kind of raise funds for KB4Girls, which may be really difficult considering some have more fundraising opportunity than others, or really just making it like an entire group effort with all of the chapters kind of pulling together. I was wondering if anybody has any experience with doing basically like an online raffle. Like if each chapter basically donated items for this online raffle, and we got all the chapters promoting it, and it happened for, say, a couple week period where people could go online and bid for items. Is that legal? Is that possible?
That's a cool idea. I don't know, but it's easy to research that. I like
Hi
that.
again, it's Laurel. I think that's a great idea also, and we looked at doing that for the kiteboarding for kids, our little charity fundraising. And I mean, I don't know that like I've done quite a lot of fundraising in Dominican Republic, for different causes, mostly the kiteboarding for kids. So we help the poor kids there, bless their hearts, and the Haitian community through the Kiters for Communities. And it is really sometimes hard to do the fundraising, for sure. And the online raffle is great. We just need someone to administer it. And yes, we can do it as a nonprofit. You can, like, eBay has a nonprofit segment called Giving Fish, I think.
Okay.
And you can set up, and I mean, there's lots of neat things that you can do. And you can even get, like other, just like if you're an eBayer, say, you can just, like if I'm selling something on eBay, I can say, okay, I want, 10% of my sale to go to a foundation of my choice. So there are tons of really good things to do, but it does take, just organization and effort. I love that idea though.
Yeah, I like it too. And I mean, I'm happy to organize it. Yay.
Just one more thing to your plate.
Yeah, but it's good because it benefits the foundation actually. And I mean, if it helps us to cut even, it helps me a lot. So, yay. Love it. Love it, love it. And maybe that actually can tie in with the second next point coming up with the global female kite day. I was just thinking that was one of the suggestions that we had coming from one of the chapters, is to actually have a KB4Girls Global Female Kite Day a year. And maybe we can actually, I mean, the idea was to have as many chapters as possible actually do something with their local community, with their girls group on that same day. Possibly even have like an online platform where everyone can say hi to everyone, depending on the time zones, obviously. And maybe the online raffle can even take place on that day, so everyone can actually spread the love and spread the word, and everyone can even go online with their chapter and raffle on things.
Yeah, I think that would be awesome. And I think, with all the chapters, we could probably come up with some pretty cool stuff.
Yep. Like it.
So why don't we do it on, what if we make, this is Laurel, by the way, what if we make the Dominican Republic chapter, or the global event in August, the one fundraising event for KB4Girls? We'll turn that event into a KB4Girls fundraising event, and at the same time make it Global Female Kite Day.
Okay. The idea for the Global Female Kite Day was, I mean, my original idea, with no, open to any others, was to actually have it on the birthday of KB4Girls, which is in December though. So it wouldn't, we are working with all those different time zones and areas and north and south and stuff. So it's going to be impossible to find something that works for everyone.
But December could be a really good month for getting people to buy things, Christmas presents. Right? So if we have people donate stuff for an online raffle, they can buy stuff as Christmas presents.
Yeah, that's the point. I like the idea of the KB4Girls fundraising event in Cabarete. Laurel, you think that the female kite day should also be at the same time?
No, I mean, if it's better in December, I was just thinking it would be easy to, batch it together. But what's the date in December then?
I think it's the first. I'd have to actually check that in the calendar.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. And I think also, like we're saying, for Christmas presents, it's a super good timing. Also it's a great time for end of the year giving, because there's a lot of people in the US that
Yes,
need
true.
to make donations to 501c3s for tax purposes. So we can.
That's true. That's a good point.
This is Jeanette. Does it just have to be once? Could we do it a couple times?
Yeah, right. I was also just thinking that we can have 2 online raffles a year and 1 global kite day.
Or not.
Yeah.
The other nice thing is December may be pretty easy to get donations because schools that haven't sold 2013 gear may be very happy to give it up at that
Yeah.
point.
Nice one. I like that too. I like all your ideas. It's great. It's really great having so many people coming together. It's not so much easier. It's perfect. I love it. Okay, so for the global female kite day, um, I'll confirm the date with you. But if everyone is happy with actually having it on the KB4 Girls birthday, then I think it would actually tie in really nicely with actually making it a KB4 Girls Global Female Kite Day. What do you think about that?
Yes.
I think the only question is whether or not it makes sense to make it fall on a weekend for some people, and I realize that matters
Yeah.
more for some people than for others.
Yeah.
And I haven't looked to see what day it is, but that would be the only other question to ask.
I guess we can make it just on whatever weekend is nearest to, like, let's say the first weekend in December or something like that every year. Like,
I have a weather issue.
yeah, I know. I mean, there's
Okay.
definitely going to be some chapters that won't make it in December, but I think it would actually be a great opportunity, even still for that chapter, to come together and do something without kiting, but watch a kite movie or go online and meet the other chapters online or stuff like that. There's just not. I mean, I've thought about that. There's just not going to be a single day in the year where everyone is going to be able to actually be on the water. Just like there's not a single hour in a day that we can all make it work to meet. Yes, yes, yes. Any no's for the global kite day in December? Any
I
other
would prefer it
suggestions?
to be when it's kite season here, but maybe again with an online poll, check how many people in December have actual kite season, and if it's a minority, maybe not do it in December. If more as half is able to kite surf in December, then yeah, keep it in December. But I don't know with the other chapters how many of them are kiting in December.
Yeah, actually, quite a few. But aren't you doing
Okay.
snow kites events in the winter as well?
Yeah, usually more in March,
Okay.
but yeah.
Okay. So, Laurel, we need to do another online poll for the to-do list, please. It's a good idea. Thank you. Okay, so we'll vote on the time of the year for the Global Female Kite Day. I think we've established that we would love for that Female Kite Day to have as many chapters as possible that do something on the day, no matter if it's a water activity or a land activity, and also that we want to do a raffle on that day. I'm going to research it a little bit with the online raffle. I guess it needs to be a little bit organized in many different ways as well. Maybe we could do a second raffle, but I'm gonna look into that first, and maybe if some of you would want to see, but again, that's gonna be closer to the end of the year probably, to see how many raffle prizes they could get and what they could raffle off. Then yeah, if you can find anything, then let me know, and I will. It will give me a better idea on what will all be involved in this. That far to the KB4Girls Global Female Kite Day. Any other last comments on that? If not, we may move over to the KB4Girls Ambassador Conference. That was actually something that I'd asked you girls what you think about that, because just like we are actually together here now, I think it would be even more productive if we could actually meet in person and spend a couple of days together instead of a couple of hours, and really brainstorm and chat and have fun together and get to know each other. And the feedback on that was actually really good. So it seems like the demand is there. All of you would want to join. The one issue we run across here again is then obviously the financial one. But with Laurel's suggestion about making the Cabarete event a KB4 Girls global fundraising event, I feel like we could possibly also get some of you to join. And, I mean, any event where we can get a few KB4Girls ambassadors together are going to be great to have something similar to a conference by just sitting together with the ambassadors and actually brainstorm. And in Vietnam, we actually had Liz there from Australia. So we had 2 ambassadors, and even that is good. So wherever KB4Girls event, we can have more than one ambassador, the organizing ambassador there and together. I think that's just great for the community and to do exactly what we're doing now. And if Laurel agrees to that, then I would just issue an official invitation for KB4Girls ambassadors to join us for the Cabaret event. Unfortunately, without any financial support that we can offer at this point. What do you think? What do you girls think?
I think it would be very cool.
Says who?
Fly to Cabarete from Europe, but like I think 800 euros. It's
Well, I'm not saying that everyone needs to fly there and needs to be there. I'm just saying that we invite you to come and join. And if you can make it, then great. If not, then it's not a big deal. We are going to have another of those online meetings in either a month or a couple of months, depending on what you decide. As you could see in the financial report, unfortunately, we don't have any funding right now to actually make an official KB4Girls ambassador conference possible and cover travel expenses. It's just out of question, unfortunately. So we are just trying to figure out ways where we can get multiple ambassadors together. And my suggestion for that right now is, or my only solution for that right now is to actually invite ambassadors to come to other events. And I think Cabaret is attractive for many of you. And if you want to come, then come. If you want to come to any of the other events, like for example the Israel event or the UK event, for those of you that are in Europe, that's great too. Obviously, we're all around the world, so some spots are going to be closer to some of you than to others. That's from my ideas. That's the closest we can get this year to an ambassador conference. The online meetings, which I think is a great idea, and I'm super stoked that so many of you support that. And then trying to get together and meet in person at some of the events.
Well, this is Susan. Perhaps if we end up with a fair number of people at the GR event, we could even do a call then, so you get some people in the room and some people on the phone, but everybody can participate a little bit.
Great idea. Great idea. So we could time one of those meetings to be taking place, the online meetings to be taking place during or just before or after the Cabaret event. And have some of you there and then some of you join online.
Perfect.
I wonder if it's an idea if we could get a volume discount if there was a few of us that could commit to the DR.
Mm-hmm. Great idea.
Local motels or hotels.
Laurel, any discounts you think would be possible for a group in any of the hotels?
Yes, I'm sure that if we can get I'm sure we can manage something.
I was sure you would.
So I mean, if people are really serious about thinking about being able to come, what I would say is, like, let's get together and talk about it. Maybe on the Facebook ambassador page, that would be a good spot to do that. And then, if I see like, oh my gosh, we can try to even find people to donate a hotel room.
Wow, that's awesome.
I mean, we can ask.
Yeah, perfect. And I mean, I can talk to surferliving.com and see if they can arrange for the travel and maybe get us some discounts as well for flights or so. Good. That's on the to-do list as well. Perfect. Would be great to have a few of you there, but we definitely see all of you online. And then?
Okay, cool. And then I'll see you on the Facebook page with more travel details.
Exactly. Perfect. All right, so not many points left. Media work, how to spread the word. It's something that I want to just touch on very briefly, and possibly also something we can brainstorm on the Facebook page once. And if you have any ideas or possibly written content, the media work for KB4Girls is, I mean, the media work of anything is really just quite a bit of work. And yeah, I haven't really been able to focus on that very much. So I've tried to ask different people to write different contents and stuff, and it usually works for one article, and then not so much anymore. So just having content to be able to send out to magazines with KB4Girls pictures and KB4Girls, or just female focused kiteboarding content is always really needed. So if you have any, and if you want to circulate that to magazines around the world, then it's going to be really helpful if you could send that on to me, and I can get it out to the magazine. It's going to help you to actually spread the word about whatever it is you were writing about, because we have all those worldwide media partners and we can get it into those magazines. But it's also going to help us to actually keep KB4Girls or girls female kiteboarding related content in the magazines, and at least have a mention about the foundation in there, and spread the word and spread the awareness. And if you have any further ideas about any media work and how we can benefit your chapters, please brainstorm on the KB4Girls Facebook page. I'm going to write that down as a point for our next meeting as well. And yeah, maybe we can just try and make that a little more effective as well. Any quick comments about that are welcome. Please, now, if you have any.
I'm just trying to think about article topics, or are you talking more about like events, writing about an event that you've had, or just all of the above?
We've been writing about the events we've had. It's actually always great if we have one of the participants or one of the organizers, ambassadors, to write something from their perspective. That's worked quite well so far. But we've also had those 2 guest blogs on the website on like how to keep fit or how to prepare for kiteboarding, and why kiteboarding is so great for females and stuff like that. Any topics that just really are focused on females and kiteboarding. And if I would have any, I could write some, but my idea flow is not so great about that. But if you have any ideas, or if you have any great articles, I know Elia is always great like that, then shoot it out there.
Okay.
Okay, perfect. Okay. Next point, and the last point before our election, is then going to be the cooperations to further our mission. And I'm just going to report on that quickly. So with Palmera Local, you've already seen the shirts that I sent over to all of you, that you saw the website online, the Palmera Local website, with all our t-shirts and sweaters. And you've probably also seen this, which I sent over to you here, is the same graphics with your chapter name. And obviously this is just a sample, Lansing UK. It can say whatever you want. They can print it on the same t-shirt for no extra cost. And we have the possibility to actually, if you say, I want that for my chapter, to put that on the KB4Girls Palmera Local page, and girls can just order it from there. Obviously, it's going to be a higher shipping cost depending on where they live if they just order one of them. You also have the opportunity to actually make a bulk order. And I'm still waiting for the final prices on bulk orders, depending on how many of them you order. But this will be a possibility for all of you girls to offer t-shirts if you want to, and actually have them with specified, or whatever, how it's called, with your chapter name on them as well. The idea came from a few chapters that were really wanting t-shirts and sweaters for their chapters. And the good thing about that is that any t-shirt that is actually sold on the Palmera Local website, or any sweater, will actually obviously give us a pretty good commission. And if we have bulk orders, then we could potentially, each of you chapters could potentially make like a 50% margin on them also. So I think that can be a pretty good help for chapters. You know, as Micah was saying, you can order things for cheap and then sell them for double the price or whatever. This is what we want to reach with the t-shirts and with the sweaters. And it's going to be easier for chapters that are closer to the UK because they're shipped from the UK, so the shipping costs will be lower. I think for chapters that are further away, higher numbers of orders will be necessary to make it as efficient. Any quick comments on that? Okay, I'll send over the prices. The next one is the VDWS insurance. So I'm not sure who of you has seen that yet, but we actually got this new little link here on our KB4Girls website, which is in the bottom right corner. It is a kiteboarding insurance. It's the same insurance that the IKA offers, actually. It's 30 euros a year. This button here down on the right, everyone sees that? It's 39 euros per year, sorry, and it gives you a 2 million euro cover. All the details are actually in the registration once you click on that button here. But it's a really good insurance if you travel around the world and if you need to be covered for, well, you obviously need to be covered when you kiteboard, but you want to be covered for yourself, you want to be covered for a third party and accidents and so on. So this is a great tool. And the great thing about us actually being able to offer this through our website is that we also get a commission on that. So if you have any girls that join your events, we actually suggest that everyone that joins an event has a kiteboarding insurance. So once again, this could be a great point for you setting down your participants and saying, hey, if you don't have a kiteboarding insurance, then this is the insurance you want. It's definitely the cheapest kiteboarding insurance on the market. It covers you for a whole year all around the world, as it says here, worldwide protection. And it will benefit KB4Girls. Yay! That was,
There's a little one.
huh? What?
This is Jeanette. I had a little bit of an issue a while ago,
Uh-huh.
being from Canada, um, getting signed on to that.
To that one? To that
Because
exact one?
I wasn't from the UK originally.
Ah, no,
So,
that's a different one. You were trying to sign on to the BKSA one, which used to be the best insurance. I used to have that, but they actually stopped with the worldwide coverage. So the VDWS one is now, as far as I know, actually the only one with a worldwide coverage. So with this exact insurance that I just showed you, you won't have that problem. It actually does cover you as well in the US and Canada. Any other comments on the issue with the insurance? Okay, last cooperation is obviously the best one. We already briefly talked about that. They have that 15% off offer. The board is, and the press release about that is on the KB4Girls website. If you know anyone that would like to order a KB4Girls board for a great discount, it's almost $100 discount, then please have them order now because there's only 5 days left for the offer. So we've only actually had 2 orders in for that board so far. I don't think that's really benefiting the cooperation with Best so much. So if you know of anyone that wants a KB4Girls board, please write me an email today or tomorrow in the next 5 days. All right. Any more comments on that? In that case, we'll go over to the elections. And as it says here in the minutes, 1 seat of the board of directors is to be re-elected since the KB4Girls Foundation is now 2 years. And in our bylaws, it states that the vice president as well as the treasurer get re-elected every 2nd year. Laurie has actually only joined us last year due to our first treasurer, Michelle, stepping back. So she's only up for elections next year. But our vice president's position, secretary position, which is the same for us actually, Laurel Eastman is up for election. And Laurie and I, as the board members, will vote on that. Laurie, are you hearing me?
Yes.
Okay. So you can raise your hand in your little GoToWebinar control panel there. would you be happy to re-elect Laurel Eastman for the position of the vice president / secretary for another 2 years?
Yes, I would.
Okay, so would I.
Yes.
Perfect.
Yes.
Laurel, I am
Yeah.
very happy,
Yes.
honored to inform
Happy
you
and honored.
that we would be stoked to have you as vice president for another 2 years. And I'm really happy that you re-nominated yourself, because I don't know what we would do without you.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
Thank you. Great. Well, what a great end to a nice meeting. I know we've been running a little late here. We took 20 more minutes than we had scheduled for, and we already started 37 minutes late due to the technical problems. Very sorry for that once again. Thank you so much for all your patience, and really big thanks for everyone that joined us. I think it was really great actually having all your feedback. There is one more point on here. It's that point number 10, any other business. I would say those of you that need to go and that feel like they've been on this meeting long enough, thank you very much once again. You're welcome to sign out. If there's anyone else that has any other business that she wants to discuss now, then I'm happy to listen and discuss that with you. So shoot if you have anything.
Before I heard about the idea of KB4Girls Couchsurfing from one of the other chapter
Yeah.
organizers.
Uh-huh.
And I really like that idea. If I would be traveling and there would be a KB4Girls Couchsurfing forum, I would check on it. If where I'm traveling, there is the option to do that. I don't know if there are other people who also like that idea, but I would like to see that idea happening.
Yep. Who else?
I'm in.
Yep, you're in.
Sounds great.
It's great. You know, I actually never really thought.
I want to come and couch surf on all of your couches. I could go on the website.
I don't have a couch.
I could be in a new addition to the website. No problem. I can go on the board deck.
Yeah, I actually also really like that idea, and it's actually on that sheet that I was telling you about earlier. It just it didn't really seem like there was any demand for it, because like looking at the KB4Girls forum on the KB4Girls website, it's kind of so slow, and there isn't really like somebody is posting something. Like just a week ago or 2 weeks ago, somebody was looking for other female kiters in Stuttgart in Germany or something like that, and there isn't any response to it. So I was wondering how much response there is actually going to be. But if you girls are happy to couch surf, then we can set it up and hope that you will actually take advantage of it for now, and then hope that as many members as possible will join in as well, and then possibly some other girls too.
Could make the website even more attractive for people to go on the website if they know that there's the option to find a couch.
Yeah.
They have an extra reason to go to the website and see what it all offers.
And is it just going to be female couches?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Female only couches for female couch surfers. I like it. And that doesn't need to be limited to kiteboarding females. But hopefully
I think it's fun if it would be actually just for kite surfers, that when you go there, you meet someone who also knows the local spot and goes kiting with you.
And in general, that was the whole idea with the chapters, and that was the whole idea about the chapters actually communicating with each other and being in touch with each other, to have the opportunity to have girls that kite in that chapter also go to other chapters and have somebody there that they can meet with. And that's why I'm like really trying to figure out how we can make that connection with you closer, and motivate everyone more to actually get involved with the website and the Facebook pages and stuff like that, so to really create a community, and to really kind of create that urge on wanting to connect with other people and going to other chapters, and if it's couch surfing or if it's actually staying in an apartment in the same apartment possibly. Yeah, that was the whole idea. But maybe the couch surfing can actually help that a little bit and further it, and yeah, really create that a little more. So cool. I look into that. How to create couch surfing. I'm gonna throw that idea to the guy that's making the website. Any other business? No more business. Okay, that's great. That I have 2 points on my piece of paper here for our next meeting, which actually it says here next meeting, which we decide by poll when that's going to be. And those 2 points will be once again touching on the media work for KB4Girls, because I really think we need to brainstorm that and possibly outsource part of that and really get on the topic to spread the KB4Girls message further. And the second one point that I have here is the chapter challenge, because I would really love your feedback from as many ambassadors as possible on how we can structure the chapter challenge better, so it's clearer for all the girls in all the chapters how they can actually gain points towards the challenge and how they can win and stuff like that. If you have any other topics that you would like to discuss in the next meeting, then please email them over, and I'll add them to my sheet, and maybe we can all look at that sheet with all those ideas in the next meeting as well. And if there is no other comments now, then I would thank once again everyone that has attended. Special thanks to Laurel, Laurie, and our accountant Suzette that's already signed out for joining us. Congratulations to Laurel for being re-elected, and huge thanks to all our ambassadors and the ones that will still become ambassadors. And have a great day, night, morning, wherever you are, everyone, and talk to you soon again. Bye for now, and thanks.
Bye, Christine. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Take care.
Bye.
Congratulations, Laurel.